Mauricio Umansky has been caught with 2 women, and this time, the news came straight to Kyle Richards in the worst possible way. After 27 years of marriage, one of Beverly Hills' most famous couples is now facing a scandal that's shaking their entire world. Kyle, who has stood by Mauricio through every rumor and every difficult season, has finally reached her breaking point. According to people close to the situation, Mauricio was seen getting very close with 2 different women at the Chateau Marmont, one of Hollywood's most famous hotels. What makes this even more painful is that it wasn't some random person who saw it. 2 of Kyle's own friends from the Real Housewives circle walked right into the scene and witnessed everything. The details that came out after that phone call left Kyle completely devastated. This isn't just another separation story. This is the moment where years of built-up tension, late nights, and hidden behavior finally came out into the open. Kyle has been quietly putting the pieces together for months, and this incident may have been the final straw. How did it all get to this point? What exactly did her friends see that night? And what is Kyle planning to do next? Stick around, because this story is much deeper than it looks. To truly understand why this scandal is hitting so hard, we need to go back and look at who Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky really were as a couple. For 27 years, Kyle and Mauricio were one of the most admired couples in Beverly Hills. They met when Kyle was still building her career, and Mauricio was a young, ambitious businessman with big dreams. Together, they built an empire. Mauricio grew the agency into one of the biggest luxury real estate companies in the world, while Kyle became a household name through the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They had 3 beautiful daughters together, lived in a stunning mansion, and regularly showed off their seemingly strong and loving relationship on national television. On the show, they were often portrayed as the golden couple. Mauricio was the charming, good-looking husband who supported his wife's career. Kyle was the loyal wife who stood by him through thick and thin. Even when rumors of Mauricio's wandering eye surfaced over the years, Kyle always shut them down quickly. She defended him publicly multiple times, saying the stories were lies spread by people who were jealous of their success. But behind the cameras, things were not as perfect as they appeared. Sources close to the family say the couple had been struggling for a long time. Mauricio's demanding work schedule kept him traveling constantly, attending parties and events filled with wealthy and attractive people. Kyle, on the other hand, was dealing with her own emotional battles, especially after losing her close friend. The distance between them kept growing. In July 2023, they officially announced their separation. They said they were taking time apart, but would continue to live under the same roof for the sake of their children and would always love and respect each other. For a while, it looked civil. But as months passed, the cracks became impossible to ignore. Kyle began noticing changes in Mauricio's behavior. Late nights, mysterious phone calls, and a new sense of freedom that didn't match someone who was supposedly figuring things out. According to insiders, she started paying closer attention to his messages and whereabouts. What she found left her heartbroken. This background makes the recent incident even more painful. After nearly 3 decades of marriage, loyalty, and public support, Kyle is now facing the possibility that the man she defended for so many years may have been living a very different life behind her back. And then came that night at the Chateau Marmont. Now, let's get to the heart of what actually happened, the night that changed everything. It was a regular evening at the iconic Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood. This hotel has seen decades of Hollywood secrets, affairs, and scandals, but this one hit particularly close to home. Mauricio Umansky was there that night, supposedly for a casual business gathering. But according to multiple insiders who were present, it was anything but business. 2 of Kyle's closest friends from the Real Housewives world, Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane, had gone to the hotel for a private dinner. As they were leaving the restroom area and walking back into the lounge, they stopped dead in their tracks. There, in plain sight, was Mauricio. He wasn't alone. He was sitting intimately with 2 attractive younger women, one on each side. The 3 of them were laughing, drinking, and getting very comfortable with each other. The body language, according to both women, was clearly romantic and flirtatious, not professional at all. Lisa and Erica were stunned. They knew Kyle was still emotionally struggling with the separation. Without hesitation, they stepped outside and called Kyle immediately. The phone call that followed was devastating. Sources say Kyle went completely silent at first, then broke down. After 27 years of marriage and defending Mauricio against every single rumor, this was the moment she could no longer deny what was happening. The details that came out later were even more painful. Mauricio wasn't trying to hide. He was openly enjoying the attention in one of Beverly Hills' most public celebrity spots. Within hours, the story started leaking. Whispers turned into texts, and texts turned into group chats among the Beverly Hills circle. Kyle was left sitting at home, trying to process that her husband, the father of her children, was out there acting single in such a bold way. But here's where it gets worse. According to leaked information from someone close to the situation, this wasn't a one-time mistake. Kyle had already been suspicious for weeks. She had quietly been checking Mauricio's messages and call logs while they were still living in the same house. What she found were flirty conversations, dinner reservations, and hotel bookings that didn't match his "we're figuring things out" story. The Chateau Marmont night was simply the moment it all became real. When Kyle confronted him about what her friends had seen, Mauricio reportedly tried to downplay it. He called it just drinks with clients and said Kyle was overreacting. But the trust was already broken. Kyle, who once fiercely protected their image, finally reached her limit. Insiders say she told him that night that their marriage was truly over, not just on paper, but in her heart. This confrontation led to the first major twist that no one saw coming. Just days after the Chateau Marmont incident, Kyle discovered something even more shocking. One of the two women Mauricio was seen with wasn't just a random person. She was connected to his real estate business, someone who had worked with the agency on multiple high-profile deals. This raised serious questions about whether Mauricio had been mixing personal affairs with business relationships. Even worse, there are claims that some of these meetings may have been funded through company expenses during their separation period. The emotional toll on Kyle has been heavy. Friends say she felt humiliated, angry, and deeply betrayed all at once. After standing by Mauricio for decades, raising their daughters, and building a life together in front of the cameras, she was now facing the reality that the man she loved may have been living a double life right under her nose. The Chateau Marmont night didn't just expose Mauricio's behavior, it shattered the last bit of hope Kyle had for fixing their marriage. And now, with this new information about the woman's business connection, the scandal has moved beyond just personal betrayal into something that could affect Mauricio's entire empire. But even this isn't the full story. What Kyle found next in Mauricio's messages left her completely speechless. The news of Mauricio Umansky being caught with two women at Chateau Marmont did not stay quiet for long. Within hours, it spread like wildfire through Beverly Hills. Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane's eyewitness account quickly reached other cast members, and soon the entire Real Housewives circle knew what had happened. By the next morning, the story had leaked to celebrity news outlets. Headlines like "Mauricio Umansky spotted getting cozy with two women during separation" started appearing everywhere. Social media exploded. Twitter, X, was flooded with threads breaking down every detail. Fans dug up old clips from the show where Kyle had defended Mauricio against cheating rumors. The contrast was brutal. One viral tweet read, "Kyle spent years shutting down rumors, and now her own friends catch him like this?" Heartbreaking. The post gained over 180K likes in a single day. But the real escalation happened when a second shocking reveal came to light. According to insider sources, Kyle didn't just receive the phone call that night. She had already collected months of digital evidence. Screenshots, hotel receipts, and message threads that showed Mauricio had been meeting multiple women over the past year. One particular conversation that leaked later revealed Mauricio telling one woman, "I'm finally free to live my life now," just weeks after telling Kyle they were still trying to work things out. This revelation hit Kyle harder than the Chateau Marmont sighting itself. It proved the incident wasn't a one-off mistake. It suggested a pattern. Friends close to Kyle say she was completely blindsided and broken when she connected all the dots. The man she had protected for nearly 3 decades had allegedly been living a separate single life while still sharing a roof with her and their daughters. The story then took another turn when some of Mauricio's business associates began distancing themselves. A few high-profile agents at the agency reportedly expressed concern that the constant negative headlines could damage the company's reputation. Meanwhile, supporters of Kyle began trending hashtags like #JusticeForKyle and #StandWithKyle. As the drama kept building, one question started dominating every conversation: how much more does Kyle actually know? Because according to new whispers, the messages she has in her possession could be far more damaging than anyone realizes. The moment the story broke, the public reaction was immediate and intense. Social media platforms lit up within minutes. On Instagram and X, thousands of comments flooded Kyle Richards' latest posts. Some fans showed strong support for her, writing messages like, "Kyle deserves so much better after everything she's done for him," while others were more harsh toward Mauricio. The divide was clear. One side called Mauricio disrespectful and ungrateful for his behavior after 27 years of marriage. They pointed out how Kyle had always defended him on the show. The other side felt Mauricio was simply moving on with his life after the separation was announced, saying they're separated. He's allowed to date. What surprised many was the reaction from inside the Real Housewives circle. Several cast members reportedly reached out to Kyle privately. Dorrit Kemsley was said to be caught in the middle because of her husband PK's business ties with Mauricio. Teddy Mellencamp publicly showed support for Kyle through subtle social media stories. However, not everyone took a clear side. Some insiders say a few housewives are staying quiet, not wanting to get dragged into the middle of what could become a very messy divorce. In the industry, the impact has been even more serious. Mauricio's real estate company, The Agency, is now facing unwanted attention. A few luxury clients reportedly started questioning their associations with the brand. Some agents inside the company are said to be worried that the constant tabloid stories could hurt business deals and client trust. Real estate is a relationship business, and right now Mauricio's personal life is making headlines more than his professional success. Meanwhile, Kyle has stayed relatively quiet in public, but those close to her say she is deeply hurt by how openly this has played out. The fact that it happened at a high-profile place like Chateau Marmont made the humiliation even worse. Paparazzi have now camped outside their family home, making things difficult for their daughters as well. This entire situation has split the Beverly Hills community. Some see Kyle as a woman who has finally had enough after years of rumors. Others believe both sides have made mistakes during this separation. But the biggest question everyone is asking right now is, what will Kyle do with all the information she has gathered? Because according to sources, she hasn't revealed everything yet. Just when it seemed like the drama couldn't get any more intense, a new bombshell has emerged that changes the entire story. According to highly placed sources, Kyle Richards recently uncovered messages that suggest Mauricio wasn't just casually seeing other women. He had allegedly been involved with one of the women from the Chateau Marmont night for several months. Even more shocking, this woman is said to have connections to several major deals at the agency. This raises serious questions about whether personal relationships crossed into professional territory during their separation. But here's the twist that has left everyone speechless. Insiders claim that one of the leaked text exchanges shows Mauricio writing to this woman, "I should have done this a long time ago," while Kyle was still living in the same house and trying to make their separation work for the sake of their daughters. This message reportedly came just days before the Chateau Marmont incident. Kyle allegedly saw these texts only recently, and the discovery hit her like a fresh betrayal all over again. Friends say this revelation has shifted Kyle from heartbreak to quiet determination. She is no longer just hurt, she is now focused on protecting herself and her children. There are growing rumors that Kyle's legal team is preparing to bring up questions about marital assets and how money was spent during the separation. Nothing has been filed yet, but the tension behind the scenes is said to be extremely high. Mauricio, on the other hand, has remained mostly silent publicly. Though Those close to him say he continues to insist that he is single and has the right to move on, but privately he is concerned about how this is affecting his business reputation and his relationship with his daughters. This latest development has thrown the entire narrative into question. Was the Chateau Marmont night really just a random moment, or was it part of a much longer pattern? And how much more evidence does Kyle actually have? The truth is, this story is far from over. With both sides lawyering up and emotions running high, what happens next could completely reshape not just their divorce, but the future of Mauricio's company and Kyle's public image. No one knows what Kyle will do with everything she has learned. Will she keep fighting privately, or will she finally speak out? One thing is certain, the next few weeks are going to be explosive. Now I want to hear from all of you. Do you think Mauricio was wrong for being out with 2 women while still technically separated from Kyle? Or do you believe that once a couple announces separation, they are both free to move on with their lives? Many people are saying Kyle has every right to feel betrayed after 27 years of marriage and always defending him on camera. Others argue that Mauricio has the right to live his life after years of rumors and relationship struggles. Where do you stand in this? Drop your honest opinions in the comments below. Do you support Kyle, or do you think Mauricio is being unfairly attacked? Tell me what shocked you the most, the Chateau Marmont incident, the leaked messages, or the fact that this has been going on for months. If you want more updates on this story as it develops, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video, because this situation is getting more intense with every passing day. There are still many unanswered questions. What will Kyle do with all the evidence she has? Will this turn into a messy public divorce? And how will it affect Mauricio's real estate empire? I read every single comment, so let me know your thoughts. Who do you believe is right in this Beverly Hills drama? Kyle for protecting herself after years of loyalty, or Mauricio for moving forward? Thank you for watching. Stay tuned because the next update on this story could drop at any moment, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.